In this episode, I'm going to tell you exactly why we trade. Why do we trade? Sounds like a simple question, right? Maybe even a stupid question. Duh, Alan, we trade because of the money. We want the money. Now, I'm going to say bull. No, it's not because of the money. Money's great and all that, but it's not money. It's something deeper. So after that, what comes after money? Well, okay, if it's not the money, then yeah, maybe it's freedom, right, Alan? Because you keep talking about that. You know, the three freedoms: time freedom, financial freedom, choice freedom. It's the freedom. That's why we trade. We trade for the freedom. I'm going to say no to that too. Those are side effects, benefits of trading, but they're not the real reason. So in this episode, I'm going to tell you exactly why we trade. So look, a student reached out to me recently about investing in the hedge fund, which is great because, it shows a lot of confidence that my students are wanting to trade with me and invest with me. So we started talking and I asked him, hey, how's it going with your trading? What's going on? He was over the moon happy. I mean, super, super happy. This guy, he's making $3,000, $4,000 per week, right? Per week. That's pretty good. But then he said something that, he said things were a little bit different. I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean they're different? He goes, well, life's different. It's better. I'm like, okay, give me an example. He goes, well, I used to argue with my wife about her spending. It's like every time I would look at the checkbook, I'd get mad because she's spending on this and that. He goes, I don't do that anymore. We don't argue about spending anymore because there is more money at the end of the month in the account, even with her spending. I was like, hey, that's awesome. Also, he said he enjoys buying his kids things, things he wasn't able to do before. Now, this is a fellow who's going to retire in 6 months. He's got 6 months of work left. He's going to be retiring. And he told me he's not going to be worried about surviving on just, 4% that you're supposed to be taking out of your IRA or retirement funds, right? The 4% rule. He's like, 4% is not that much. And if that was the case, I would still be very concerned and worried about running out of money. But now he's not. He's actually looking forward to retiring compared to when it was a stressor, right? I was talking to another student also last week, and he is also in the beta group of the Market Power program that we have. And then after about 2 months in that program, he joined our oil program, the blank check trading program. And I was curious. So I reached out to him and I said, hey man, you've been with us for a long time. Like you've been on our email list. You're in the passive program. You've been in that one for a long time. You've heard about blank check many, many times, probably a dozen times. You've gotten emails about it, or I've talked about it, or you've heard a podcast about it or something. What made you jump into it right now? Because you just joined this program, Market Power, and then 2 months later you joined into this other program. And I knew that money, the price of the program was a bit of a concern for him in the beginning. And this is what he said. This is a direct quote, so I'm going to read it here. He said, just started to figure everything out. It started to fall into place. After the Market Power group, I just felt more confident in my trading. And once I started seeing monthly returns getting close to being able to stop working levels, I felt like I should go the last step and add the oil to the toolbox and see if I can make enough to surpass my original goals. So I went for it, and I'm glad I did. It's really easy to understand, and I can't wait to start doing it live trading with you. Thank you for being so consistent with your teachings and methods. That feeling that you and your crew are there for us made it a much easier decision as well. So interesting, right? Now, in both stories, there was no mention of a Lamborghini or a mansion house or a private plane, any extravagant spending. Now, there might be a couple listeners out there that want that stuff. There's nothing wrong with having cool stuff. But I think most of us, we don't want that stuff. We want other stuff that's real. We want to have less stress, happier family, simple pleasures. I think that's what life is really about. That's the real reason why we trade. Not to get super rich, but to enjoy the simple things, the little things. It's not because of, we're greedy or we want to take over the world, but it's the small things that people don't even notice that make the world or life really better. Like going to a restaurant and ordering whatever you want on the menu without having to look at the price, without worrying about the price. Oh, how much is that steak? Oh, lobster. Oh, no, she wants lobster. Oh, no. Right? Choosing a vacation based on the location, the place you want to go to compared to the price, the cost. It's like, oh, yeah, we can't go to that island. That's too expensive. Let's go to this small little beach over here instead. Nah, you don't need to do that anymore, right? Or even being able to take multiple vacations a year. So now I'm curious, did I get it right? Is that why you trade? Let me know in the comments or leave a review. I always love getting feedback, and I would love to hear what it is, why you trade. Until next time, trade with the odds in my favor, my friends.